right, so we're gonna go ahead and get started here. Welcome to Pullman Police Advisory Committee. Thank you for joining us today. So we're gonna go ahead and get started because I'm super excited for this tour, and we have a special guest here, my husband, who's excited to go on this tour. So we might as well get diving in here. So before we dive into things, I want to let you guys know that during the meeting today, I'm going to pass around this Lentil Festival sign up. So feel free to sign up for any time periods you want to stop down there. There is room to put 2 names in one time slot. So if you guys want to do that, you guys can. I'm probably going to be there most of the day on Friday. So if there's just one person there, that's okay. I'll be there the whole day. Anyway, I'll be passing that around. So if you guys want to look at that, we'll get that back and forth for you guys.
We did add Saturday on there too, in case
people
wanted to help do the child ID thing on Saturday too.
So is that what this second last is supposed to be? Because it says Friday, so I should bring Saturday.
Yep.
Saturday the 19th onto that one, right? The 11 a.m. to 5 p.m.?
Yep, that's Saturday.
That way people know. I was going to ask about that. I was like, why do we have an earlier session on Friday than usual? There we go. And I'll be there on Saturday as well. So, all right. So, approval of meeting minutes from June 12th meeting. Did anyone have anything to say on this? Any concerns? Do I hear a motion to approve this?
I so move.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Darby, for putting these together. I always want to say thank you because I know I do minutes for another meeting and I know how much work it can be, so. All right, so like I said, I'm passing around the Lentil Festival sign-up sheet. Pick a time if you want to sign up. We'll also email it out for those who were not here. We can attach that to then maybe next meeting minutes when we get those out, Darby. We can send out this sign-up sheet for any times that we feel like there are holes.
And I apologize. I never go. I never work.
That is okay.
Because we're always gone on the summer weekends.
So you're going to be gone this summer?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Well, on the summer weekends, yeah.
Okay.
We're always gone, so.
Yeah, well, that's good. It's good to hear that somebody's out there enjoying the weekends. So. But you do miss some pretty good chili.
I know, I'm sure I do. And lots of other festivities.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, well, I did hear that we are going to have the child ID kits at the Lentil Festival, right? Is that correct? And you guys suggest probably 2 people being there to man that, right? Or do you think it's manageable with 1 person?
We can probably get by with one because we'll have at least someone from the police department there as well.
Okay.
On Saturday anyway. But on Friday, I would say at least 2.
Right, okay. All right, so that was Charlene's idea. So Charlene, when you watch this on YouTube, we'll just be happy that got passed forward. Thank you guys very much for ordering those and getting those ready for us to have those at the Lentil Festival. And then, any other concerns about that that you guys want to talk about? I think we're pretty much good. Like, as long as we have someone there from the police department ahead of time before our shift starts on Friday to kind of walk us through anything you think we maybe need to know about those kits, or suggested things to say. We'll need to get more of our, I don't know how much you have available of our cards, or did we print those last time, or how did we do that last time?
Yeah, we just did like the perforated ones last time.
Okay, yeah.
And I don't think there's very many left from last year.
Okay, yeah, so we'll have to maybe get some more of those put together. And I can always print some too, if you guys need me to do that. Pick up some of that paper. So let's just go right into the police department update if nobody has anything else about the Lentil Festival to talk about. I'm excited for it too.
So let's see if Scott's available to get with them on Friday. Scott,
Okay.
Patrick, when they're getting set up so we can go over it with them. Okay, so I don't think I knew this at our last meeting, but at the end of June, Gary Labasore retired. He he was our code enforcement one person who did primarily downtown parking enforcement. So what we have done is we had that code enforcement officer position, and we had a separate position that those code enforcement officers were animal control and handled other code violations in the city as well as parking enforcement. So we combined essentially those two positions. So now we have, we had code enforcement officer twos, we had two of them, and then one Gary Labashore for downtown parking. So now combined, we've got three positions that can do any of those responsibilities. So it'll give us a little bit more flexibility staffing wise, and we'll rotate people through that downtown parking position, but it'll allow us to devote more resources if we need to in different areas of code enforcement. So we did an internal recruitment within city employees, and we now have 4 applicants, and we'll be doing interviews July 21st. And Cora, I haven't heard yet.
I was gonna ask Charlene, but since it's only from 8 to noon, I will be doing it. So,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. All right, so Cora will be on that interview panel. We also created a rehire list, which the civil service rules allow us to do. Officer Riley Michael Best left last year to go to King County Sheriff's, and he submitted his application to return to Pullman. So when we have an opening, he will be on our rehire list. I think I told you at the last meeting I was going to attend the Axon Taser Conference, which I did mid-June, and did a couple presentations there. On June 27th, TSA hosted an explosive device exercise at the Pullman Moscow Regional Airport. Participating in that was TSA and the Spokane Regional Explosives Disposal Unit, and of course airport personnel and the Pullman Police Department. And so we ran through a couple of the scenarios there, and it was really good training, particularly for the explosives unit and also with our staff working with them. And that's the first time I think we've ever done training like that with TSA. June 29th, I attended the College Hill Association annual barbecue. They have that every year. And then Alex Gordon, who's the College Hill officer for the upcoming academic year, was able to attend that as well and meet people up on College Hill. July 4th, law enforcement wise, was relatively quiet. I think we just had one relatively small fire that was fireworks related. Other than that, everything went fine at the park and throughout the city. We, on July 6th, we had our new in-car cameras installed in all of our patrol cars. And so we are working through some, we're one of the first agencies in the U.S. To receive them from this vendor. It's from Taser Axon. It used to be called Taser, they're now called Axon. They just rolled out their in-car cameras, and so we're working through some technical glitches, and then also we're finalizing our revised policy on use of in-car cameras. We just submitted a grant to the Department of Justice, the Community-Oriented Policing Services section, and it's called a hiring grant or hiring program, where the federal government will fund 75% of a new officer's salary and benefits for 3 years, but they have a max of about $125,000 per officer. So we would reach our max about eight month of the second year if we got the grant. The formula that they had listed in the grant application made it seem like we could only apply for one, but as Darby was filling out the grant application, it determined that we could actually apply for 2. So I'd gone to council and asked for permission to apply for the grant, which they granted, and we should hear by the end of September whether if that grant is funded. But still also pending is whether council will approve acceptance of the grant, because those who receive the grant have to commit to keeping the new positions funded for at least a year beyond the 3-year grant period. So the council would have to commit to completely funding those positions after the grant period. So we'll see, we'll determine that as we go through the budget process. So I'll keep you posted on that grant. A new cell phone law goes into effect July 23rd, and essentially what that law says is that drivers cannot use personal electronic devices in their hands while they're driving. It does permit minimal use of a finger to activate or deactivate or initiate a function. Exemptions are if someone's contacting emergency services, some exemptions for transit employees, someone operating a CB, and authorized emergency vehicles. The first fine's $136. I've seen different reports on what the second fine is, but I believe it's twice the amount, so $272 on the second offense. The governor has asked law enforcement agencies to incorporate about a 6-month warning period, and so we plan to do that with some exceptions. If there's just an aggravated situation that an infraction needs to be issued, then we'll issue that, but otherwise, for the most part, we'll be doing using it as a public education and warning. On constituency follow-up, last meeting, I think it was Charlene, reported that someone was turned away from fingerprinting on June 7th. So I followed up on that and found out that our fingerprint printer was malfunctioning that day, and so they asked the person to come back in a day or two, and we would likely have it fixed, and actually got fixed later that day. So that was what happened with that. And that's all I have.
Questions?
So I'm curious, how does the cell phone law differ from what has been in place already?
Currently, the only thing that's really prohibited is texting.
I see.
So someone can be holding their phone and doing just about anything they want with it. It's really difficult to prove someone was actually texting.
Yeah.
They could have been entering a phone number to call somebody, or so. So this really adds a lot more prohibitions in, and so it's just minimal, really, use of a finger. So you could have it on, sitting on a seat or on a holder, and you could actually just push a button, and that's allowable. But doing anything much more than that. So this law is a lot more enforceable.
Yeah.
The current law is very difficult to enforce.
That would apply to music and all that type of stuff, right?
Pardon me?
Like an iPod or music or...
Right, yeah, any personal device. Now, if it's built into your car, I don't think that would meet the definition of a personal electronic device. That it has to be something you could hold in your hands.
Sure.
I think.
Do you guys think that you'll have the ability and time to enforce that? I know that in Moscow, I just met with the chief over there. He said that sometimes they'll have like an officer on a bike or walking down the street, and they'll see somebody kind of texting at their wheel, and they'll radio the plate numbers, and then they'll get them directly pulled over. And I know that can take a lot of time and manpower to get that kind of stuff done. And are you guys obligated to write a report each time you guys give a ticket on something like that?
No, officers just now with our body-worn cameras, I mean, the officers don't have to take a lot of notes because they can just go back as long as they recorded it and record, everything that they did anyway, and then they could make some notes on the back of the ticket about what they had observed that's not captured on the camera. So it's just like any other type of a traffic stop, really, any traffic violation.
Okay.
And we'll likely, after July 21st, I think we'll put out some educational pieces on the new law, and I think we'll make a concerted effort to, I don't know if enforcement isn't the right word because we'll be issuing warnings, but stopping people that we see in violation and provide a lot of warnings to people to try to get a lot of compliance before it comes time that we would actually do a lot of enforcement.
Okay. Any other questions? I had a question regarding your code enforcement. You said currently, so we had one code enforcement retire, one officer retire. I thought we just had two, so we had three?
Yes.
So we're gonna internally select two candidates?
So, no, so we had Gary Lavashore was code enforcement officer 1 position, and that was just downtown parking, and then we have 2 code enforcement officers that were code enforcement officer 2s,
Okay.
and that's Emily and Liz. So they're both still here, so we just need to replace Gary, and we've combined the job descriptions, so we just need to hire one person. So we did an internal recruitment, not just at the police department, but all the city employees.
Okay.
And so we had 2 record specialists and then 2 other city employees apply.
Okay. So then the job title for all 3 positions will be code enforcement 1 or
Just code enforcement.
Okay, all right. That makes sense. Thank you. All right, I think that's all I have for questions. I think maybe since we're doing the tour, we should do our constituencies poll first and then save the tour for last. So kind of move that around for this meeting if you guys don't mind that, and ask for public comment before we head over there for our tour. If everyone's okay with that, Rich, you could start us off if you have anything.
No big thing, but there's a bright blue painted shed next to the flagpole on the city playfield, and there's a 2-hour parking sign that is back there behind the shed. It looks like it's been pulled out of in front of the baseball fields or something.
And it's at the shed?
It's in the back of the shed. There's
Back of
kind
the
of an
shed.
awning in the back of the shed.
Somebody apparently didn't like where the sign was posted before.
They could have just came here, but I mean, gotta be more creative.
Okay.
Justin Brackey, Military Hill, and I got nothing.
Bill Holman, Pullman School District, and no concerns. Would like to announce and welcome Evan Hecker, who's the new principal of Kamiak Elementary School, has been hired and is on duty, even though we don't have a school yet. I'm very, very thankful to have him on board, actually, because we have enough students to warrant a 4th principal, and he'll be spending the year getting to know the district and getting to know, the community. Even though he is a member of the community and has been for a while. He actually lives in Pullman, but has been working in the Moscow district. So we'd just like to welcome him, and he'll get to know all the different resources that are available to him and that kind of thing this year. So, all I got.
Well, that's great to be able to bring him on early like that and
Yeah,
get him
it's gonna be
acclimated.
very beneficial to us.
Yeah.
He'll be quite helpful in each of the elementary schools, especially since we have, our populations are growing rapidly and can frankly use a little bit of help. So it's a good model. We appreciate that support from our community and the district office.
Great.
Eric sets off, business, nothing to report, so.
Corey Woodley, Chair, WSU faculty staff, nothing to report on that, but I do believe we need to move my position over to business community alternate for now. And we can vote on that as long as if everyone's okay with that. I'm not currently at WSU, so keeping me under that is not really relevant. I have a small business I run out of my house, so it's more relevant for me to do that, to be in that category, than to be in the WSU faculty staff category. So,
Should we vote on that now?
yeah, if that's okay. We can do that now.
Yes.
So I hear
You need a
maybe,
motion.
yeah, I need
Yeah,
a motion
okay.
to move me to that category, to the business community.
Yeah, there is a
Alternate.
vacancy.
It's in the alternate, yes. And technically, I really don't vote on much anyway, because I just
because you're
administer, but
because you're chair, that exempts you from the non-voting rule.
yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Okay, yeah, we can put something like that in the bylaws.
Well, I thought that was already the case.
Oh, okay.
I thought I heard that, but you have
Well,
to check
I've looked
that.
through the bylaws, and that was going to be the second thing I mentioned to you guys. I was going to see if
Oh.
you guys were interested in me creating police advisory binders with all of our bylaws. We can start having Darby put like throwing punches into this, into the minutes and agendas if you want. If you guys want something put together to help keep you organized, I'm going to do it for myself anyway, and I've made a few extras. So if anyone wants one, just let me know. If you would like me to put you together a binder. Good idea?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll just make some, and then as they disappear, I'll replenish them. You know.
That works.
Okay. All right, and then did I hear a motion?
I move that we move you to the business alternate position.
Perfect. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Perfect. Thanks, guys. Finally, I got that taken care of. I just felt guilty seeing my name there, saying, "No, I'm not technically representing WSU anymore." But the business I've been running is going pretty well. Currently on a little vacation mode, but we've upgraded some of our materials. We run a jewelry design business, for those of you guys who don't know. Supplies, but we also do a lot of hand stamping, custom made jewelry pieces. That has been our little hobby to fund our Christmases the last several years. So that's what we do. And other than that, I have nothing. So, do you have anything for us?
Oh, no. Phyllis Dahlkopf, Sunnyside Hill. I have nothing to report.
I also am on Sunnyside Hill, but not representative. But I just want to say that those signs are still working to get people to slow people down, which is nice. Even me, sometimes I'll see it hit 27, and I'm like, oh, there it goes again. I gotta slow down. So it's working, but it's so easy to just go faster though. So we're really appreciative of how much effort you guys put into getting those in there. Other than that, I think we should adjourn so we can go. Well, do we have any public comment? Are you sure? Okay. We should adjourn so that we can go on our police facility tour. Those of you who are watching on YouTube, please keep in mind that you're welcome to schedule a tour at any point or go on a ride along. You can always go to the police department, sign up for that. It's a good opportunity to get more connected with your police department and understand what is going on at the police department. So I highly recommend people do that. You can also do it at your local fire departments or in Moscow or at the university. So it's a really good thing to keep in mind. Do I hear a motion to adjourn other than our tour? I don't know if we need one, but let's do one anyways.
Make a motion to adjourn.
All right, all those, seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.
I opposed. Perfect.